Okay, guys, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this. Wow. I can't even tell you, like, Talladega never disappoints me. It always has something to give me. Last year it was the Carl and Kevin Harvick exchange, and this year it's Carl again, oddly enough, but, wow. Great race. So, the first thing, lap 8, and we get the big one? Are you kidding me? And of course, like, here's the thing about Casey, like, being a Casey fan. You know that if there's a wreck on, if there's a big wreck on the track, there's like a 85% chance that Casey's involved in it, which sucks because by lap 8 we were, we were done contending for anything but 36th place, which I guess I shouldn't complain. It could be worse. He could have been Mark Martin, who had to come home at the last. So, but wow. What was crazy about this one is it took out all your, a lot of the guys that you felt were going to be contenders. It took out, Jeff Gordon, and it took out Mark Martin, and, Clint Boyard had a really, really hard hit, and, it just really, Kevin Harvick was in it too, and some of those guys did finally get to come back out on track and at least make some laps and, get some of those points back, but, man, it just sucks. And I know a lot of people are blaming Matt Kenseth for it, and though it did kind of look like that, I don't think it was intentional by any means. Like, I think sometimes you just make a mistake and things happen, and unfortunately you end up taking out guys who don't deserve to be taken out, So that was kind of a big deal. I was definitely, like, freaking out on lap 8, which is, it's going to be a good race if you're already, like, at your wit's end by that time. Then, towards the end, it was kind of a, fairly dull race in the middle. There was a couple of really, really good saves by Kurt Busch and Michael Waltrip. That was some dang good driving by those two guys. You have to give them kudos for that, because they could have both hit the wall really hard, and they saved it. So, good for them and those guys. Then towards the end of the race, there was another semi, like the big one times two, and it took out some more of the guys that you felt like were going to be really good contenders. It took out Denny. Well, it didn't take him out, but, messed up Denny. It messed up Jeff, or not Jeff, but Jimmy Johnson. I see them as one and the same, so. Took out Jimmy Johnson and Montoya, who had a really good car all day, started on the pole. We don't talk about Montoya very often. And yet, he was doing pretty good there, and he was actually a lot of people's favorite to win. So it sucks that he kind of got in the middle of that and kind of started it. Him and Denny started the whole thing. So, Denny was a crazy good draft partner yesterday. Like, it seemed if he'd get hooked up with somebody, they were straight to the front, and then that person would drop him, and he would go straight back to the back. But yeah, Denny did really well until that whole wreck. Robbie Gordon was also involved in this and had a pretty hard hit, which seemed to be kind of the theme of this race, was hard hits. Like, every single wreck, there was guys that were, it was hardcore. But that did definitely, suck for that, or for those guys that, like, I felt had something for him there at the end, Of course, Johnson always has something for those guys, and so, I know it sucks for Johnson fans that he had to go out that early, well, that late, I guess, There's only, like 6 laps to go. That's really, that just sucks for those guys, You race all that time, you avoid everything, and then at the last minute. Which can be said for also Carl Edwards. His strategy the whole day was to stay in the back and stay out of trouble. He was running 30, in the 30s, all the way in the back. And it worked all the way until the end. And then, like, all hell broke loose, I don't even know. I know a lot of people are wondering, should NASCAR make changes to the double line thing at the bottom? Should they... all these different things, that they want to change about Talladega, about Daytona. But the thing is, Jack Roush was talking about it after the race. Those two tracks are like staples in the NASCAR schedule, and the fans expect a certain kind of race at those, restrictor plate tracks. If you change something about them, they're not going to be the same race, and nobody's gonna want to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, granted, safety is your utmost, like, important thing, and you don't want those guys to get hurt, but I've heard rumors of people wanting to, like, take the banking away and do this and do that. It would just ruin the track. It would ruin the track. Um, all that being said, Carl's flip was ridiculous. Like, I was scared for Ryan Newman. Like, I mean, that car came right down into his windshield. You know, I mean, it's a scary thing. And it's amazing that those boys both walked out of their cars, you know, no problems. And there were some injuries in the, you know, with the fans and stuff. I think there was like 7 injured. And I hope they all have a really speedy recovery. And I don't want you guys to think I'm insensitive to this. Like, I'm not. Like, that would be the most terrifying thing. And, you know, just being at a track a couple weeks ago and knowing how close we were to the track, like, I mean, that would be terrifying. But you'd have one heck of a story when everything was said and done, you know? That's all I'm saying. But I do hope that they all, you know, recover fast. And none of the injuries were, you know, very, like, life-threatening or anything like that. So, wow. I just couldn't. I can't believe it. That was just so crazy. And Carl getting out of his car, when the whole thing ended and he got out, I was like, crap, Carl's pissed. Like, he's going after Brad. Like, this is going to be great, right? So I'm like sitting here expecting it, and then he just runs and crosses the finish line. I, like, about died laughing. Like, my mom and I were cracking up about the whole thing. So, yeah, it made for a really good show. Heck, if I would have been, I mean, that's awesome, you know? Kudos to those guys, but, man, wow, what a way to end a race, you know? Just thankful that nobody got hurt, but jeez. I personally am not a big fan of the double yellow line. I think if anything, maybe they should change that. But I don't think changing anything to the track is what you need to do. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but I just think it would change the whole complexion of that whole racetrack. And I mean, we've seen it with other ones, you know? I mean, lots of other tracks that have been resurfaced, redone, and it just changes racing there completely, you know, which can be a good thing. Sometimes it makes it better, sometimes it makes it worse. So, let's see. Congratulations to Brad Keselowski. What? Can you believe that he won that race? Just complete madness. I cannot even, can't even comprehend the kid, and I'm sure that he is, like, dying inside because he won. That's just amazing. So, congratulations to him and that whole team. Way to lead the most important lap, and wow, never in a million years did I see that coming. Let's see, other guys who did well. We have to give it up to the rookies this week. Joey Logano got a top 10. He was 9th, and Scott Speed got a top 5, or he was, you know, 5th. So, congratulations to those guys. It's, you know, been a long time coming, so I hope they're kind of on the up and up and start to do well. Next week there will be a crew swap between the 07 Casey Mears team and Kevin Harvick, the 2019. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. I know, they're mowing the lawn outside, so if you can't hear me, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Maybe that's better. I got the TV yelling too. Okay. Anyway, the 07 and the 29 teams will be swapping everything but driver and spotter. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. Richard Childress has done this before, and it worked out, you know, beautifully for him. So hopefully the same thing happens here. Both of those teams deserve to be running well, and so yeah, I'm anxious to see how that all goes down. Gosh, I guess that was the big stuff that I wanted to talk about today. What do you guys think about, like, what should happen at Daytona and Talladega? Basically, Talladega is what we're really talking about. Do you think that they should change the track? Do you think that things need to, you know, there need to be rule changes, maybe heavier penalties? Whatever you guys think, let me know. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of comes out of this whole thing. Yeah, I guess that's all I had to say. Richmond is on Saturday night. I'm excited. I like Saturday night races, so hopefully I can watch that, and it'll be awesome. Yeah. Alright, have a great week, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.